Yo, it's your boy DJ Flex back again on the Athletes Hub where we cover sports in every way we can, whether it's the football, boxing, UFC, tennis, mate, you name it, we're doing our best to cover it. And right now I'm gonna be looking at just talking about yesterday's performance in the boxing with Anthony Yarde against Dec Spelman, scheduled for a 10 rounder. What a fight it was. It was really good to see both men give their all in the ring as they do, and I was very pleased to see Anthony Yarde just stop Dec Spelman in the sixth round. Very calculated, very good performance in my opinion. He just shook off some of the cobwebs he's obviously would have had because he hadn't been in the ring for about a year. And once he got through the first and second round, he started shifting through the gears and started to take the fight straight to Dec Spelman, and he just couldn't handle it. And it's just one of those things where the bigger, well, when I say bigger, I would say the more powerful man landed the heavier punches, which eventually got him out of there. And most boxers will tell you, and boxing trainers will tell you, body shots will surely put something in the bank. Headshots are great, but the more you hit the body, you're banking. And Yard was sending some solid right and left hooks to the body, and in the sixth round, everything he had banked leading up to that, he cashed out with a beautiful TKO victory. I felt that the ref possibly could have let the fight go on just a little longer to see if Dec could get his bearings back, and possibly, I think there might have been like maybe 30-40 seconds left in the fight. He could have gone back into his corner, got that 1 minute break, and come out and possibly, gave another account of himself. But at the same time, I wouldn't be too, angry that the fight got stopped where it did, because Yard was really in full flow and was really feeling himself in the ring. And it was almost one-way traffic from the sixth round onwards. So it begs to ask the question: what next for Anthony Yarde? What does he do now? He has the one loss on his resume against Kovalev, and for me, I wouldn't say it's a loss. It's more of a learning lesson, because he has had only a short amateur career, and at the same time, he hadn't fought anyone at the experience level of Kovalev, and he gave a really solid account for himself. So naturally, having fought Dec Spelman, you would think that the next way to go is to fight Lyndon Arthur. And I guess, the matchmaker Frank Warren had obviously, made this fight just so that there's a little bit more of a storytelling to go with, the Lyndon Arthur Anthony Yarde fight. It was good. It's good to see, because we want to see the best versus the best at every level. Yarde arguably has fought a lot of tomato cans, but you know what? Some people get unstuck against tomato cans, and Anthony Yarde hasn't come unstuck against any tomato cans and has got rid of absolutely everybody except one person in his career. So he's been given, well, two, I guess, because he's won one on points decision, and then obviously he got stopped against Kovalev. So we all know that Frank Warren and Queensberry Promotions has a very cozy relationship with the WBO, and we all know that the WBO at this minute is quite vacant, at the light heavyweight division, and we've got at least 5 fighters, which could be, challenging for the vacant belt. Kovalev being one, which Yarde has expressed wanting to have a rematch against him. You got Maxim Vlasov, you got Joe Smith Jr., Elder Alvarez, and Umar Solomov. Solid competition in regards to that vacant WBO strap. But Yarde still has to go and get through the likes of Lyndon Arthur, and then possibly go on to fight the likes of Josh Buatsi. They've been linked with one another over the years, and quite rightly so. They do look like it would be a great fight, because both lads have a very calculated style of boxing, and it will be a great chess match until it's not a chess match no more. and both guys try to go out there and just take each other's heads off, and assert dominance as to who is the best British light heavyweight fighter. Who would my money be on if the two were to fight? I'm going to sit on the fence there because I like both fighters. I love the way Anthony Yarde is just this calculated assassin with, the power of a heavyweight. And once he drops that right hand of a hammer on you, it's curtains. You just wake up into the next day wondering what has happened. And then you've got the likes of Josh Buatsi, who is just this silent, gentleman of an assassin, someone who might offer you, tea and biscuits before he takes your head off, and absolutely sends you into the next dimension, with the way he fights. So I can only imagine it being, a battle of who has the best game plan more than it is who has the best set of skills or who is the best fighter. I think this is more going to be down to who has studied the game more, who has, put in that tactical training, I would say, watching the videotapes and really assessing their opponents and finding what the weak spots are. That's what's going to make the difference in that type of fight. But, that's looking way down into the future. Might not even happen in 21. That might look like it might be a 2022 fight, probably for a title, and a pretty big British dust down. But for now, I think, Frank Warren Promotions, Queensberry Promotions are going to be looking into setting up that Lyndon Arthur fight. Naturally, I think that is the way to go. Lyndon Arthur fought Dec Spelman, went to a points decision, got the victory same way, and Anthony Yarde stopped him in the 6th. So natural progression means those two have got to meet, even though they were to meet earlier, but of course COVID and everything else. That's got to be the fight that happens next, and I'm hoping it happens out in December. Crowd or no crowd, it's got to happen. We've got to see that fight. There's been a lot of trash talking. There's been a bit of back and forth between both camps, and it's time to settle the score in that one. Who is the better man? And I like the North and South rivalries in the boxing game. It just adds a bit of flavour to it, and we want to know, which part of England, genuinely does have or does produce the best fighters. And I believe that fight there definitely will be one of those fights. And there being no crowd kind of gives it more of that neutral feel. So it doesn't have to be up north, it doesn't have to be down south because there's no fans. It can quite literally happen anywhere, and just a boxing ring and your backroom staff, so to speak. So yeah, it's looking good, it's looking healthy. I'm happy that boxing is back the way it is. Happy with what Eddie Hearn is doing with the fighters over at Matchroom, and it's good to see what Frank Warren is doing with the fighters over down at Queensberry. And I would love to see a super card with Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois and Yarde and Lyndon Arthur.